Well, I don't know what this thing is. I think it's a strip show, dance show.
We're there, dude.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, are you IJBOLing? And who is canceling food for hurricanes? Also, what just landed on the south pole of the moon? And why ink cartridges are a scam? All this and much more will be discussed here on DeaconLive. How are you? How are things? How are things going? As I smack this net that's been flying around here in the studio. Sometimes we get those little, not fruit flies, but the little small little gnats here in the studio. And I've got a cup of vinegar with a little, or apple cider vinegar with a little soap in it. So I guess I gotta refill that thing up. Hopefully it'll take care of this one little guy flying around in my face. I actually, on the air last week, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, I sniffed one in and it almost killed me. I'm sitting here talking on the microphone and I went, take a deep breath and right down the throat. And we'll get into a whole bunch more topics that you have missed on your daily news feed. But first, let me tell you what's going on here. So I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope everyone's getting along with everybody. That's most important. That's what we try to do here on DeaconLive. Now, my wife and I, both of us, we have our own chores here on the property. As you guys know, we have 22 some odd acres here. I'm in charge of, like this past week and a half, I've been mending the fences and building a new fence for a pasture. So, put a pole on the ground, cement the pole, measure out the next pole, rinse, repeat. And then I've got the tractor out there with the auger to dig the holes in the ground, and then I've got to shovel everything out and then put the boards up. I know it's a lot of stuff. So I've been doing that for the last couple of weeks to free up my wife and I's time for this Labor Day weekend that's coming up, Memorial Day weekend. I always forget which one it is. I think it's one of the two. You take the pick. And so some of the chores that I have is when my wife's not here in the morning. She's got a horse lesson, which is off campus here. I go down and feed all the horses and take care of all that. I don't clean out the stall. She cleans out the stall. So she goes down there. That's her therapy time. She goes down and, picks all the stalls and gets the poop and the pee out and all that stuff. She likes doing it. She puts her headphones on. She watches or listens to some kind of book on tape. And, she just kind of mellows out, and that's her little zone. That's fine. And then the chickens get fed, and she cleans out the chicken coop. She does all the poop stuff. I do all the building and restructuring stuff here. The reason why I tell you that is because, on our downtime, I like to sit and play video games. I've got a PlayStation 5 and sit there and play mindless video games, nothing real challenging or anything like that. My wife's not into the video games. I tried to buy her a Wii many years ago. She played it for like 2 months and was like, I just don't have time for this. And then later on, when those little mini consoles were coming out that had like 600 and some odd games on them, the old Nintendo games, the old, Zelda, Pac-Man, all those different games out there, Space Invaders, your arcade games, your Capcom games, they're on, those little devices that have, 600 and some odd things in it. So she bought the Super Nintendo one that had all the Super Nintendo games, the regular Nintendo console. I think she bought the Sega Genesis console because it had Sonic on it. So we have 3 of those. And she, again, the same thing, played those for about 2-3 months each and then lost interest on it and went on to something else. Now, she has a tablet, and the tablet that she has, I have her old tablet here, and that runs a lot of the lighting stuff here in the studio. That's that tablet. This is her old tablet. Now, the new tablet she has an 11.15, big screen. And it almost looks like, you ever seen a Chick-fil-A drive-thru? She's got the case on the back where she can put her hand. It's got like a harness on the back of it. And then it's got a shoulder strap that she, a lanyard that she can, carry it around like a pocketbook if she needs to. It's a big friggin' screen. But the other day, we're sitting there at the bar in the kitchen, not the actual bar where you serve alcohol, our bar in the kitchen. We have a center island there. And she's sitting there tapping on something. And just, tapping on the screen. And I watch her play the little online games that you download on your tablet. I've got, it's kind of like Candy Crush, but it's like Family Guy oriented. I've been playing it for, God, I don't know how long. I'm on like board number 3000 something. That's how long I've been playing it. And it's just mindless, match the colors, sip your coffee, think about what you're going to do that day, that type mindless work. Sometimes she'll play, I don't know, something like where you look for pictures, look for items in the pictures, and it's always a tap the screen type deal. So I just kind of don't really pay her any attention or anything. But the other day I heard her say this right here. She said, "Ooh, I got to do something with the chickens." And I'm like, all right, I'm just sitting there listening to her. "Ooh, we got to take the tomatoes out. I got to take the tomatoes out." And I'm like, I thought she had like an app on her tablet, because we do have a garden. Of course, we have chickens and everything. I thought she was getting like organized and getting a structure set up. And I look over, she's playing Farmville or some Farmville type game. And, the beets are ready. I've got to harvest the beets. And she's tapping the screen, and I got to build a pond somewhere. Where am I going to put this pond? And so she's tapping the screen. I said, you can do this in real life. You don't have to play it on a game. We have places to build a pond. We have fruits and vegetables in our garden that need to be picked and stuff. You can, do something with the chickens. No, it's too hot out there. I'll just do it on my tablet here. I said, but doing it on the tablet doesn't make it done here on the property. Like, if you need more work on the property, we can find more work. No, I like playing my little game here. It's kind of like if you work in a warehouse all day long, you come home and you play I'm the forklift driver, on your PlayStation. It just didn't make any sense. So I'm like I just kind of shook my head. I'm like, really, babe? Yeah, okay, that's fine. Have fun. It's mindless. She listens to her book on tape. She sits there and taps the screen and does all that stuff, and she achieves goals. It's that instant gratification, that instant reward that you get. And that's why these video games or these little touch the screen type games are so popular and stuff. So that's what she was doing. It just kind of set me back. I was like really? We have on your tablet physically here in real life, IRL, on our property. No, it's too hot out there. Okay. Enjoy your little game there. I'll keep playing my little Family Guy game. We got a lot to get into. Big show, lots to talk about. What did you miss on your social news feed? I got an update about that house that exploded over there in Pennsylvania. I've got an update on that. And there was a house here actually in North Carolina. We broadcast just outside of Charlotte. There was a house that almost exactly the same scenario. Completely devastated. It was a Titans football player. It was his house. He lives here in Charlotte somewhere. And his house did the exact same thing, completely exploded. And I think one was killed and another person was injured as well on that one. But I got an update on what actually happened at the Plum, Pennsylvania with that house that exploded as well. And a lot more other stuff to get into. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. We'd love to hear from you, and the way you can do that, you can be part of the show. Tell us what's on your mind. Tell us how you're feeling. Tell me what's going on in your world. And the way you can be part of this podcast is to go over to Prophet Radio. That's PROPHET radio.com. At the bottom of the page says Be Heard. Little blue bar, little blue tabs, got a little microphone on it. Click on that on whatever device you're listening to us on or at. Your tablet, like my tablet I got here. If you're on a smartphone, that'll be great as well. Do they call them smartphones? Are we done calling them smartphones? Regular cell phones, right? They're all smart now. You can talk into that. You can be anonymous if you want. Opens up a microphone on your device. Speak right into it, and we'll play it on the very next podcast as well. You can ask us anything you want and just tell us what's going on. Now, right now, there is still investigating what happened over at the Plum House in Pennsylvania. Plum, Pennsylvania, Plum, Pennsylvania. They're calling it the Plum House explosion. And what happened was the co-owner, the cause of the blast, which destroyed 3 structures and damaged at least a dozen other homes, remains under investigation still. But officials said that, the explosion occurred shortly before 10:30 a.m. Saturday. Heather Oravez, who was the Plum's community developer director, was killed in the blast, along with 4 other people that were killed in the blast. This development is on an abandoned mine land surrounded by shallow oil and gas wells, some of which have been abandoned for years. 2 wells that are still producing gas are within 1,000 feet of the home that exploded. And the pipeline, almost got them. And the pipeline runs behind the development. But none of these structures have been identified of having been the cause of the blast. A company spokesperson said on Wednesday that they had completed additional testing of the system with the Fire Marshal's Office and the State Public Utility Commission. meaning it can now begin restoring gas and service to the residential area. So after the explosion, they just shut everything down and said, whoa, let's not have anything else like this happen. Now, here's an update of what happened with one of the victims that was caught in the explosion.
A sixth person has died in the aftermath of a house explosion in West.
Now, don't forget, for every podcast we have a matching video, and you can see this in real time. And if you want to see these videos as we're talking about them here on the show, go over to YouTube, search DeaconLive podcast, and you can see this in real time. You can see all the visuals that we have here in the studio. So here we go.
A sixth person has died in the aftermath of a house explosion in western Pennsylvania. Authorities say the co-owner of the home died today in a Pittsburgh hospital 4 days after the blast. The 56-year-old had severe burns over most of his body. His wife and 4 other people were also killed in the explosion. The cause remains under investigation, but officials have said the homeowners were having issues with their hot water tank.
So there you go. That's a little bit more. I mean, I explained that to you before, but there's a sixth member, the actual husband of the whole entire family that basically were just annihilated when this house exploded. So he has passed away. He has to succumb to his injuries, I guess, being burned over 80% of his body. He was like, holy Jesus, can you imagine that? No, I can't imagine that. First of all, the housing that just devastated everything. So there's your update on that, and investigations are still ongoing, but they do have gas and power and stuff back in that neighborhood. So nothing was damaged that way. Now, one thing that is damaging is your ink printers. Oops, let me switch back to screen one. All about me, right? About this guy. So one thing that's damaging is how much damn inkjet printers cost. Not necessarily the printers themselves, but the actual cartridges inside. Some printers will actually have a chip inside that says if you don't buy, Jaguar gasoline for Jaguar cars type deal. If you don't buy our printers or our cartridges for our printers, we won't use any third-party printers or cartridges. If you're in the market for a new inkjet printer, those super cheap entry-level machines that you see when ordering your options by lowest price can be really tempting. But don't go in thinking that you're getting a good deal. Quite the opposite. As a drug dealer might give you a little cheap first sample to get you hooked, then hike the prices for future transaction. Printer manufacturers adopt the similar business model. They can easily recoup any short downfall of the discontinuing sale of the printer by selling its inkjet cartridges for a massively overinflated price. So here's the deal. What's going on? So they're saying that, the ink cartridges that you're buying, they're not filling them up all the way. Even the cheap ones, they're not filling them up all the way. In spite of all this, at least when you buy one of these rip-off cartridges, you get the amount of ink that you should be paying for, correct? No, this is not correct. We now know after this investigation that ink cartridges are taken apart, and you see how much actual ink is inside. The first potential concern is the cartridge in question that uses an opaque black plastic construction hiding the ink or the lack of ink within. The advertised ink volume of this particular cartridge that they were doing the study on is 11.9 milliliters. That's already disgustingly low amount given based on the size of the cartridge. Now, I know what I have here. My ink cartridge says it's been out of ink for the last 3 months. And what I do, I just hit bypass. Now, granted, this is about all I print. These are my show notes. For all the different podcasts I do, this is the show notes. It's 8.5 by 11. It's all black ink. I don't have any color on here. And my black ink, all my other ones say that they're out. I'm like, well, I don't print anything color. For whatever reason, when I was printing black, it was taking to make the black, it was taking like the cyan, the yellow, and the magenta to make the black. I'm like going, Jesus Christ, isn't that a ripoff in itself? But now that all those inks are quote unquote gone, the black one says it's been out, and it says it's been out for like 3 months now. And I just hit bypass, and you can see the paper right here if you're watching me on the video. Paper still looks good. Ink looks nice and solid. There's no smear. There's no fades or anything like that. So how much ink do I have left in that cartridge? It's been, and I print at least, I don't do a whole lot of printing. I print maybe print about 6-7 pages a week. And I say pages, pages like this. But what they're saying is the best value for your ink cartridges. I know kids are going back to school and they're looking at maybe getting a printer or something for their home office or your home office or them at school, is get the one that actually has an ink fill tray. You've seen, I think Shaquille has one where, you're actually physically squirting the ink into the tray, the little basket. That's the only way truly to know that you're getting the right amount of ink out there and get away from the cartridges. Because they'll sell you a printer. They'll sell you a $99 printer. You go buy the cartridges for all of them. You get the value pack that's got the magenta, the yellow, the cyan, and maybe 2 blacks in there. And that cartridge right there goes for about $60 some odd. Well, Christ, I'll just get another printer. That's what they're hoping that you don't do. So there you go. Watch your printers out there. Get the ones that's got the well. That's what I'm looking for, the ink well in the printers. All right, guys, stick around. When we come back, guess what? They're making coffee stronger. And when I say coffee stronger, not for you to drink, to make buildings, driveways, concrete. They're using coffee to do that. So stick around. I'll dive into that when we come back. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. Everyone wants something for free, but you got to do me a favor. You got to go over to Prophet Radio, proud sponsors of Deacon Live. That's PROPHET radio.com. Go there, and at the top of the page says free swag, a little drop-down menu there. Fill that out. Pick out what kind of prize pack you'd like, a little care package for you, and we'll send it out to you. It's not an email grab. Believe me, it's just a way of Prophet Radio saying thank you for listening to all the different podcasts that they sponsor, and you can see the list of all the different podcasts that Prophet Radio is involved with as well. And while you're there, stick around for some music. They got great music over there, live streaming 24/7 all the time. So some of the stuff that you hear on TikToks, those trending music videos and stuff, the whole entire songs are located over there as well. And right now, what is it? Hillary that's beating the shores of California and sharks are swimming in the streets. It's so stupid. They can't swim. They're freshwater or saltwater fish. They don't swim in there. They'll die. But someone put it out there. But anyway, so hurricanes are hitting California right now, and they've got a lot of stuff going on. I think there's a earthquake that happened, 1-2 punch there. 5.4 earthquake happened just outside over there on the San Andreas Fault. That's going to shake them up over there. So you got the fires over in Hawaii, and that natural disaster ribbon just keeps moving to the east and, hits California as far as hurricanes, and then a natural disaster of a earthquake as well. Now, over here on the East Coast, we have a very popular grocery store by the name of Publix. The Publix down in Florida are excellent. The Publixes that are up here in North Carolina suck. They just don't have the same atmosphere that you do when you go down to Publix in Florida. Now, if you're not from Florida, it's kind of like it's this mecca of grocery stores. Everyone loves Publix, and they're famous for their Publix subs, and they're famous for, they actually have a sushi chef in the deli department, or over there back where they have the fish market and stuff that makes sushi fresh every day. And my wife loves going there, and we can get sushi. That's right, they got sushi, and they do the sushi up here too. It's the same thing. Just some reason the atmosphere up here in North Carolina falls short for some reason. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the people that actually live here in North Carolina. Maybe they're not the Publix brand that they have down in Florida. Sometimes you get those Florida people. They're a little weird. They're a little off, but sometimes that's what makes Florida, Florida. Now, I was born and raised there, so I know all about like hurricanes and stuff. And we've had several hurricanes. Back in 2004, we had the trifecta that came through. We had Gene, Francis, and Charlie that basically just cut the state, crisscrossed it, and devastated the whole entire state. We had Andrew back in the early 80s, and so on and so forth. The list continues. And one of the things that Publix used to do, or is doing up until now, was they would make hurricane cakes or pastries or anything like that. Because you go to Florida, and people, if you're not from Florida, and you hear hurricanes, you're buying everything. Hurricane 1 is coming, category 1. And people that are not native to Florida will run and hide and board up the doors. You know what native Floridians are doing? They're buying lawn chairs. They're buying cases of beer. They're buying hamburgers and stuff to cook out on the grill. They're filling up the propane tanks because they know they're going to lose power. So they got to cook everything in the refrigerator. It's a party. It's a dump your refrigerator type party because you're going to lose power. No big deal. The crews down there are pretty good about getting the power back on. We've been through so many of them. They just go back there and go, oh, yeah, Sector 1's off again. Oh, damn it. That pole over there on 5th and Main is giving me a hard time. And they'll go over there and flip the switch and figure out how to set everything back up lickety-split. But one of the things traditionally is a hurricane cake. Now, I don't know if we're too woke now where Publix is now saying that they're not going to make hurricane cakes or hurricane-themed cakes anymore. And I say, why not? Why? Well, think how many people lose their lives and lose their houses and stuff like that. Okay, fine. Then let's not have football cakes for Super Bowls. How many people get DUIs or any kind of how much theft, how much damage, how much anything that goes on during a Super Bowl or a football game or anything like that. Let's not celebrate anything. You know why? We don't want to celebrate, the whole entire front line of the Atlanta Falcons because, 9 of them are on trial for spousal abuse. We don't want to celebrate that, so let's not have football cakes. Let's not have baseball cakes. Let's not do anything, okay? Let's not celebrate anything and always look at the negative on everything. It's a hurricane cake. It's not, I don't want to say it's not you're not making fun of it. It's just a hurricane cake. This is something that happens here in Florida. And so here's a little bit more on this story. And don't forget, for every podcast we do, you can see this video in real time as we're talking about it. Go to YouTube, like and subscribe over there to DeaconLive podcast. So believe me, I'm not doing that for the money. It's just another venue for you guys to sit here and enjoy the podcast in a different media base. So here we go.
A hurricane party this year. You're going to have to do it without one of these, a hurricane cake from Publix. From Publix, I should say. The Hurricane Ian Publix grocery store will no longer bake or sell any hurricane-themed cakes. In an official statement, they say in part, it is our company's policy not to produce bakery cakes that would make light of any natural disaster. And Wink News caught up with some shoppers and we asked them what they thought about this.
I don't really think that's making light of the natural disaster. It's not celebrating it, but it's also giving people kind of a positive thing to happen after the hurricane too.
Yeah, I kind of tend to agree with them. You're out and you're getting your supplies, you're getting your bread and your milk and your water and your batteries. And
I could kind of see it going both ways, but at the same time, when Hurricane Ian was so destructive, did so much damage, and there were so many deaths, I could kind of see that.
Of course, and Publix has every right to do it.
Yeah.
They can do what they want. But there you go. So do you agree with that or not agree with that? I'd like to hear from you, especially those people living in Florida. Do you think Publix banning the hurricane cakes or not banning them, just not making them anymore? I'd like to hear your opinion on that. And the way you get your opinion and be right here on the podcast with us is go to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. At the bottom, at the bottom of the page says, be heard. We'd love to hear from you and hear your opinion as well. At the bottom of the page, opens up a microphone. You can be anonymous if you want, and we'll play it on the very next podcast as well. Now, humans are predicted to eat and drink over 175 million bags of coffee over the next year. This totaling over 23 billion pounds of spent coffee grounds. For decades, most of the waste has been generally disdained and put in landfills, the transportation of which leads to large amounts of greenhouse gases emission. And it stands to reason that these spent coffee grounds offer a massive untapped recyclable source and opportunity. Researchers at Australia's RMIT University has potentially figured out just what to do with all these leftover coffee grounds. According to the findings in a recent publishing of the Journal for Cleaner Production, engineers had developed concrete that is almost 30% stronger and than existing standards after mixing coffee derivative biochar. To create this new biochar-like additive, the team employed a low-energy process known as pyrolysis, in which organic waste is heated to 750 degrees Celsius without oxygen to avoid creating carbon dioxide. Roughly 15% of the sand used in traditional concrete was then swapped out for this coffee biochar, offering not only a more resilient building material, but one that could take care of a massive food waste obstacle. The coffee biochar is structurally finer than sand, and its porous quality allows the cement to actually bind together better to the organic material. While in the early testing of the early testing stages, the coffee concrete is showing immense energy promising, but replacing at least one of the traditional concrete sand also offers a major additional bonus to the team's innovation. According to the university, 50 billion metric tons of sand is actually used in concrete projects around the globe, resulting in a huge stress on the ecosystem, such as riverbeds, banks, and so on, anywhere where there's a water table. Minimizing sand mining in favor of recycling coffee grounds, therefore, is an additional and positive environment. It's good for the environment. That's what they're trying to say. Further research and fine-tuning goes on. According to this plan, essentially all the spent ground coffee could be put towards a new concrete projects. The research team intends to explore practical implications, standards, as well as field trials and calibration on the outside industry leaders, perhaps joining forces with both the diaper concrete engineers in this world during this order. So what they're saying is they heat your coffee grounds up, all right, and they make some kind of like biochar or something like that. Here's my question. All right, let me go back to me now. Here's my question. So how are they going to get all these coffee grounds? Now, I can understand your big coffee shops and stuff like that. There might be some kind of recycling center for the coffee grounds, but are you talking about the individual person? Like here every morning, I have coffee every morning. My dad makes coffee. He puts, I think, maybe the equivalent of a quarter cup of coffee grounds in the automatic drip maker, sets the coffee, and then when he's done, he takes those coffee grounds, puts them right in the garbage. Now, am I supposed to save those? I know a lot of times horticulturists will say put those on your plants because the acidity in the coffee grounds is good for some types of plants. If you have azaleas or hydrangeas or anything like that, you can put those out there and, spruce up the colors of your plants. Am I saving this? Are they going to go around and have a coffee pickup, or are they just looking at larger houses, larger businesses and stuff where they can actually get more bang for their buck when they come and pick up the coffee grounds? I don't know. Or is it maybe the byproduct of when they actually make the coffee? I don't know how they're going to do that. They really didn't get into the article about it, but that'll be curious to find out. Yes, that'd be great. Take our coffee grounds and make make concrete stronger. God knows, I think China owns all the concrete, or owns all the sand, most of the sand that we use to make concrete. So that's a big plus in our direction if we can get coffee grounds to be used in replace of that. All right, guys, stick around. When we come back, this 10-year-old had to go to the bathroom so bad he wound up in jail. I'll dive into that story when we come back. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. And the way you do that, the way you find them, the way you can be part of us is go to Prophet Radio, proud sponsors of Deacon Live. And there you will find our social contacts pages. What the hell was that? I got so much stuff going on. Hold on. I got to do something later. All right. What was I saying? Let's start over. I forgot what I was saying. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social contacts, and the way you find those links is you go to Prophet Radio, proud sponsor of Deacon Live. That's PROPHET radio.com. And you can see social contacts. You can see our TikTok pages. You can see our YouTube page. You can see our Instagram. You can see all the stuff that links us to you and you to us as well, and all the different platforms that you can find us on. You can download us on your iHeartRadio, which we'd appreciate because those people pay the bills here. You can also find us as well. We're non-biased. You can go to iTunes, Spotify, and the other 25 different platforms, depending on what side of the planet you are on. So you can find all that over there at ProphetRadio.com. Mm-hmm. While you're over there, we'd love to hear from you. Click on Be Heard and get yourself something for free also as well. And you can see all the different podcasts that Prophet Radio sponsors as well. Now, as a little kid, many, many years ago, I remember for whatever reason, I had to take a dump. And my mom and dad and I would go fishing for a family vacation, and we rented like an RV, like a Winnebago type deal. And I don't know what happened. I don't know the actual story. My mom's gone now, so I can't really ask her anymore. My dad's still around, but I don't think he remembers what happened. I had to poop, but I was at an age where I wasn't wearing diapers, but when you got to go, you got to go. Little kids wait till the last minute. And, you know, Ma, I got to go now. And then ends up wetting his pants or pooping her pants or anything like that. So I pooped in a sand dune. And my mom didn't have any toilet paper at the time, so she had her purse. The thing she pulls out was her checkbook, and she starts ripping off blank checks to wipe my ass. Yes, I know. That's how rich we are. We can just wipe our asses with blank checks and then cash them later. But this child right here was urinating in public, and the police officer arrested him. Now, when you say arrested a child, he's 10 years old. That's how old the child is. And in Senatoba, Mississippi, a Mississippi police officer who took part in the arrest and jailing of a 10-year-old child who urinated in a parking lot is no longer employed. And other officers will be disciplined also because of this incident. The Senatoba police chief, Richard Chandler, announced the news on Friday's Facebook post that he didn't specify whether the officer who left the department was fired or quit, or what type of discipline the other officers will face. Chandler didn't immediately reply to the Tuesday's voicemail seeking further information about the charges from the AP. We appreciate the public's patience while we investigate this incident, he says. We deeply value your trust and support, and the dedication continues improving and learning from our mistakes, Chandler, the chief of police, wrote on Facebook. Now, the child's mother told the news outlets that her son urinated behind her vehicle while she was visiting a lawyer's office on August 10th, and that officers then put him in a squad car and took him to the police station. Chandler, the police chief, said the child was not handcuffed or charged, and that the officers issued a citation for a child in need of services. It wasn't clear Tuesday if that was a citation had been rescinded yet, but the Senatoba has about 8,000 residents and is about 40 miles south of Memphis, Tennessee. So can you imagine, you're a little child and you don't get arrested, or you get placed in the back of a car. That alone is unnerving. You were just, hey, Mom, I got to pee. Your mom tells you, she's your enforcer. She's the law. She's, judge, jury, and executioner. You do what your mom says. Hey, Junior, go pee behind the car. I'll stay here and watch for you. Police comes up and goes, what are you doing? My kid's got to pee. Nope, that's illegal exposure or something like that. And, urinating in public or something, and they blame the mom. What was the charge that they said? Child is in need of services? What kind of services? The parent was right there. Give me a break. Poor kid. He's going to be scarred for life. And who knows if any charges will happen with the mother. But they said that the arresting officer was let go or quit. They don't know. But more details, I'm sure, are to follow. Now, guess what? Great news. We have landed on the moon again. That's right. No, hold on. We didn't land on the moon. The human race has landed on the moon again. And when I say the human race, I didn't know this was happening. This is a blurb. I didn't see a blurb or anything in the news that this was even, we're so stuck on ourselves. We're so stuck on Elon Musk and what he's going to do. Is he going to fight Zuckerberg? Is the Virgin Air spacecraft, is Jeff Bezos and what's his name? William Shatner, are they going to fly up in the air again? We're sending people under the water to go look at the Titan. Those things are imploding. Millionaires and billionaires are dying and doing weird and crazy things. We don't care about what the other world's doing. Oh, the Ukraine, yeah, we'll pay attention to that. But that's a side note. That's way over there. It's hundreds and hundreds of thousands of miles away. We don't care. It's happening over there. Another place that's happening, things are happening and we're not paying attention to, is in India. An Indian, from India, because that's what they are, spacecraft has become the first to land near the moon's rock and crater-strewn South Pole, making the country the world's fourth to successfully perform a controlled landing on this lunar body. So let me break that down for all you simpletons out there. India launched a spacecraft and landed it on the moon. There. How about that? The landing of the spacecraft called... No, I was kidding. It's called Chandra... I'm going to mess this up. Let's find out how to pronounce this. Pronounce this word, because I want to give them all the props for all those people. because they're going to put a 7-Eleven up there. I know. Let's see. Pronunciation. So let's see what they actually, how you pronounce this. Here we go. This is the name of the capsule, the spacecraft that landed on the moon.
Chandrayaan.
Chandrayaan. There you go. One more time.
Chandrayaan.
Let's do it slow.
Chandrayaan.
So there you go. Chandrayaan landed on the moon. Is a major the Chandrayaan-3 is a major success for the country's Indian Space Research Organization, which made an unsuccessful attempt to land on the moon in 2019 when its predecessor, Chandrayaan-2, crashed and burned. It also has established a communication link with its lander and is telecasting images and ramping up to deploy the module's rover to roll over the lunar surface. It's going to be a friggin' highway. It's going to be a traffic buildup before we can even get up there. This is rovers and stuff all over the place. Oh, that's Mars too, isn't it? All right, well, still. China's up there. I think Russia's up there as well. They got rovers running around. They're all going to duke it out on the Sea of Tranquility. This accomplishment is a powerful, empathetic reinstatement of India's growing global structure and capacity in science and technology. It will inspire Indians, people of the country of India, the scientists to step forward and play leading roles in the emergence and inevitable global quest for moon-based scientific technology and surprise or enterprise. You can do either one as well. So there you go. I didn't even know that was happening. They had this. Now, hold on. You know what the lunar looks like? Because people were freaking out about it. They're like, what the hell is this thing landing on the moon? You ever made a paper airplane? And I'm not talking about the long one. You know, the long one with the pointy nose where it flies straight. I'm talking the one where you turn the paper sideways. Like the 8.5 is, you know, up and down. And the 8.5 is on one side and the 11 is on across the top. And you make those funky triangle looking paper airplanes that when you throw them, they kind of do tricks in the air. That's what their lunar looks like. That's exactly what their lunar looks like. Landed on the south pole of the moon. And now is they're getting ready to launch a rover vehicle out there. And there's so many jokes there. You know, I said about the 7-Eleven or all that. But yeah, they landed on the moon. Well, good for them. You know, here we are. Like I said, worried about all our other stuff, all the millionaires, you know, shooting people into space and bringing them back and killing people underwater. India's like going, oh, yeah, watch this. There they go. Good for them. Now, are they going to... They're using it for science, but you know, when someone achieves something like that, other countries kind of go, "Oh, hey, India, come here, do me a favor, take this and put it on your next flight and shoot that up there as well." No, we have no more money. Oh my God, can I get a discount? So that's happening out there. All right, guys, when we come back, are you now? You know, you've been rolling on your ass. You've been laughing your ass off. You've been laughing out loud. Now, are you IJBOL? IJBOLing. And I'll describe what that is. It's a new lingo kids are making up. We're just going to talk in abbreviations from now on. So this is a new one that's come up. I want you to hear that as well. So stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video over on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe over there. It's just another avenue for you to enjoy the Deacon Live podcast. You can watch us at home. You know, the writer strike's still going on. The actor strike's still going on. So what better time to get caught up on a very well-produced video podcast that dives into social events and stuff that have been happening for the last couple weeks, months, and whatever. You can see us here in the studio and learn a lot of the stuff. A lot of the stuff is evergreen. It's you know, you can listen to it anytime, a lot of factual stuff. As you guys know, if you're a fan of Deacon Live, you can see what we do over there on the YouTube channel as well. Make sure you subscribe over there. Believe me, I am not in it for the money on that end. I'm in it for the money on this end. So as long as you guys keep listening, we appreciate you guys. And to show some appreciation, while you're over at ProphetRadio.com, get yourself a little prize pack. Fill out that little form. It's not an email grab. Believe me, we don't send out enough emails, or we don't send out any emails at all. to flood your accounts or anything like that. Just something to say thank you for listening to us, and pick out whatever prize pack you want, and we'll send it out to you as well. Now, kids today, I mean, remember, what was it, AOL chat, and this whole new dialect came up, and then we started texting on our phone, and you were only allowed to text so many characters on your phone, so you had to figure out a way to send stuff. So let's go through like some common ones. LOL, laughing out loud. I brought up earlier in the program IRL, which is somewhat new within the last couple years or so in real life. There's also, you know, rolling on the floor laughing my ass off. LOL, what is it? LOM, laughing my LMAO, laughing my ass off. And then there's a whole bunch more. I'm sure the list goes on and on. You know, W2TF, DTF, all that other stuff. There's a new one out right now. Do we need it? No. Is it out there and people are using it? Yes. Can it be said some other different way? Sure. But the new one that's out there is IJBOL. So think about that and what we know already about the anagrams and stuff that we use. So we do laughing our ass off, you know, when someone says a joke, Now we do emojis. So what do you think IJBOL stands for? Just when you thought you had them all memorized, yet another internet-driven slang term has arrived to make you feel out of touch. The acronym IJBOL stands for I just burst out laughing, and can be used as much the same way as LOL, or rolling on the floor laughing, and so on and so forth. The acronym is increasingly being used on social media and in text, and to convey users' reaction to something they find surprisingly hilarious. Ha 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 ha. It was first embraced by the K-pop fan community in 2021. As of this week, many of the users on X, formerly Twitter, yeah, thanks Elon, appear to be adopting the term more and more frequently in their posts, though plenty of their posts were also making fun of that, poking fun of the term or mocking it as well. In any case, searches for IJBOL have been spiking in recent months according to Google Trends. Perhaps evidence that users are desperately trying to find meaning in the word, and they're seeing it for the first time. To that end, dictionary.com has an entry for IJBOL on August 10th, describing the term as used as an expression of uncontrollable laughter and extreme amusement when someone finds something funny. I know. It is unclear if IJBOL will continue to be embraced in the long run, although Urban Dictionary indicates that uses has already been around since 2009. Why did it fail to catch on earlier is anyone's guess, but who knows? IDK. What IJBOL means at this point, I'm too afraid to ask. So there you go. But we're going to end up talking about, I just burst out laughing. How about, hold on, I got to write this down. My, or I could say IJSOMD. I just spit out my drink. Or I could say, well, shut the fuck up. I mean, that one's in there too. But I mean, still, there's so many different ways. And then unless someone actually physically asks you, what does that mean? Here's the biggest one that I've always had. I always put on, when I was texting people, POY. And people were like going, what's that mean? Well, I use it as a goodbye. I used to, and then it got so complicated and stuff, and then I just gave up on it. But I stole it from Napoleon Dynamite, the movie, because what was his brother, Kip? Kip would always say, if you've ever seen Napoleon Dynamite, towards the end of the movie, he would say, peace out, yo. And it was so Anglo-Saxon, so corny, and so white. So I always put POY. So let's do that. You and I, the whole DeaconLive community, anytime we sign off or something, always put peace out, yo. POY. Let's do that. Let's make that, and then you can tell all your friends, I was on the cutting floor, on the cutting edge of the peace out, yo terminology, the acronym and stuff. I heard on DeaconLive. We're going to do that. So it's POY. Let's get into that, all right? Now, something I cannot get into. Now, granted, TikTok's out there, and there's some good things for TikTok. If you're, for example, I'm a horse person. Like I said, we have the property and stuff here. I do a couple different podcasts. I always put all the little TikTok videos on from one podcast that I do up. And it can be informative. There's a lot of comedians out there that are making their way in the world today. Takes everything you got. Sorry, kind of rambled there. But then there's some TikTok videos you're just like going, why the hell is this even a thing? Now, I like pizza. I like making my own pizza at home. The Walmart that we shop at has the dough in a bag where you have to proof it, and that's good. It's like $1.60, something like that. You put it in the bag, you let it get to room temperature, you open it up, you spread it out on the table, you throw the flour down to, roll it out with a rolling pin and stuff, and it makes a really good pizza. I've almost given up on frozen pizza, but some do live and die by frozen pizza. And there's also, it's quick and easy. Making your own pizza at home takes time. It takes skill. It's a learning curve. Do I put enough cheese on there? Did I put enough tomato sauce on there? Or gravy, as my Italian friends would say. Did I put enough this? Did I put too much? Is it too soupy? The list goes on and on, making it at your home. But this lady right here has a new frozen pizza hack. Now, when I say a frozen pizza hack, she's not talking about the pizza. She's talking about the pizza box. In a viral video that's gained over 331,000 views, Brelan Adviv, who goes under the handle Glitter Forever 17, showed us a useful tip. And I use that term loosely, useful tip that changed the way you might think about the humble cardboard container from a frozen pizza. Hold on there, girlfriend. We'll get to you in just one sec. The TikToker's frozen pizza hack isn't the first time she shared useful information with her viewers. Her page is chock full of helpful hacks to make life easier. She uses the platform to share insight about dating, hair, her skin and her skincare routine, and being married to a gay guy. Oh, God. She has got a lot of things to unfold in that one. So what happens is she shows what the hack for the pizza box and how we've all overlooked this thing. Now, I'm warning you, this is 331,000 people have seen this, and, mind blown. Is that a MB? Mind blown right now. MBRN right now. So if you want to see this video, I'm going to change the camera forward, and you can see this in real time as we're talking about it here. So here we go. This is her pizza box hack.
The reason why that matters is because I discovered something that maybe I am just stupid and I didn't realize, but it was something about the pizza box.
I'm going to say the first part. You are stupid.
I'm mind blown. Here is my off-brand frozen pizza that I had for dinner last night.
Just a regular box.
It really doesn't look super exciting until you look very closely, and you'll find something extraordinary.
Okay.
If you look on each side of the pizza box here,
and the opposite side,
it's scored. You see the scored dotted line
here?
Yes. So you're supposed to cut this.
Why?
That's what we're gonna do right now, and it's also scored on this side.
Why?
So after it's been cut on each dotted line on each side, I can now open it up
like a regular pizza box.
Like a delivery pizza box. Not only are you supposed to open a frozen pizza box like this.
No, you're not.
Instead of just tearing into it. But you can also store any leftovers in this box.
Nope.
Close it up.
Nope.
Just like that.
Nope.
And put it in your refrigerator. Next time you eat pizza, think of me. You're welcome.
Next time I eat pizza. Hold on, shut up. Next time I eat pizza, I'm going to open the box the way I normally open a frozen pizza box. You find the one end that's got the two flaps with the glue on it. You flip one end up. You stick your fingers in there, run your finger down there, and open that one side. Then you slide out the pizza, right? You slide out the pizza, And sometimes it's covered in like plastic wrap and it's got a cardboard backing and all that. Take all that off. Put the pizza in the oven. Do your pizza thing. When you're done, you got half a pizza left or whatever your fat ass didn't eat. I'm not putting it back in that box. If you have that lid open like a regular pizza delivery box, you know how much air is going to get in there and dry your pizza out? No. I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag, or I'm going to wrap it up in foil, depending on how I feel that time at the end of eating a disgusting frozen pizza, and then go from there. I'm not putting this big, huge flat. Now, maybe you don't have enough. Maybe you have a whole lot of room in your little spacious refrigerator in there with all your frozen dinners and meals and stuff. I don't have enough room in my refrigerator to house a pizza box. In the freezer, I do. In the actual refrigerator, no, I don't. So I'm going to put it in a Ziploc bag. You know, what's the thing? Press the blue and yellow make green. And then when it's green, I throw it in the crisper tray. Done. And then I'll heat it back up however you heat it back up in the day. Why is that a TikTok video? Look, it opens up like a regular pizza, like a delivery, and you can pretend. I'm not getting out a pair of scissors and cutting down that groove to open the box up to take my pizza out, my frozen pizza out that's not even cooked yet. I actually had, here we go with this story. I had a friend of mine. I bought my first house when I was 20-some-odd years old, so I'm on my own. And like this lady here, I lived on frozen pizzas for a little bit. And they had a product at the local, let's say Publix, because we talked about Publix before. They were called Danos, D-A-N-O apostrophe S. And they were like 3 for $5, but they were the big 12-inch pizzas. Hey, you know what? That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 3 days. 3 for $5 or whatever the price was. It was cheap. It was under $10. I know that. So I would have friends of mine that come over, and this one friend of mine, my best friend at the time, he goes, let's get one of those Danos pizza. And, you know, we kind of guinea it up. We'll add a little bit of more pepperoni, a little bit more sausage, a little more cheese, and throw it in there on the grate, on the oven grate. And he goes to me, no, man, you don't put it on the grate. You flatten the box out, and you put the box in there with the pizza on top. That's the way you cook it. And I go, are you sure? He's like, yeah. You put the box in there, you flatten it out, and you put the pizza on top of the box, and you put the whole entire flat box and the pizza on top. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm used to cooking my own meals, like physically making my own meals. Frozen pizza was a whole new world for me. We never had them in the house growing up, so I never knew how to make them. He said this is the way he did it. And we'd be sitting there, and of course, you know, 5-6 beers into it, and, you know, the marijuana goes around the room a couple times. You're kind of going, what's that smell? I smell something burning. And sure enough, I would go into the kitchen, and all the edges of the boxes that didn't have the pizza sitting on were burning, not on fire, but they were like crisping up and they were turning to ash. I'm like going, what the fuck is this shit? Pull the pizza out, smoke everywhere, blah, blah, blah. I'm like going, you're a fucking moron. You're a moron, just like this girl here doing the pizza box things. All right, well, you're not a moron. I swear you're not. But we'd like to hear from you, and the way you can tell us what's going on in your mind. If you've ever had a pizza hack or any kind of thing like that, go over to Prophet Radio, proud sponsors of Deacon Live. At the bottom of the page, hit Be Heard, speak right into whatever device you're listening to us on or at, and it comes right here to our inbox, and we'll play it on this podcast. Actually, we'll play it on the very next podcast since we're wrapping up this show today. And get yourself something free over there as well while you're on Prophet Radio. Listen to some of the music that they got. They got some great tunes over there, and you can also see like us on YouTube as well, and you can see all the videos. You got nothing on TV. Believe me, in 6 months' time, you're going to be begging for something on TV that's not a reality show, because there's no writers, there's no actors. So do me a favor, go ahead right now and subscribe to Deacon Live over on YouTube, and get ready, because we got a bunch of stuff going on in the next couple of months or so. So we'd love to see from you and hear at you, or something like that. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to let you get back to doing what you got to do. My name is the Deacon, saying goodnight and goodnight.
Wait, come back.
The absolute end.
I had to fill a little space. Bye. I always do this. I just do this. How about this? Thanks, guys. Take care. Good night.